It is amusing to see that those who are constantly angry and frustrated in their place of baseless information, shrugs at anyone else who possess a clearer perception of reality for themselves in terms of their own personal journey. There are plenty of containments that are lived inside that are said to have been formulated, based upon a desired inner freedom for mankind and as common humanity, but only serve as a hindrance of the mind, with in effect, affecting the stability of the host. It is not so much of what is known, but of how it affects the personality which socializes with the rest of humanity upon a daily premise, whom are perceived to be outside of the social mindset that has been established in opposition to what has been asserted to be more pleasing and acceptable to what has been for centuries titled God. The cultivated convictions that are perceived upon a collective seem to be thought and felt as a security source because of others holding the same imbued social indoctrinations from the effects of the social science mechanism, designed to create an impious mentality, along with others whom assert a pious demeanor. You experience a society of an outward dual intellect that does not help a society, but cripples it upon an intellectual stance and balance for the reverence of both mindsets. But when there comes a human being who realizes at such a time of his or her development, that his or her very essence has no place inside of a man or woman cultivated culture for the sake of the bondage of tradition and containment, then he is rejected as a part of that established community, as this rejection has been ordained for to work in upon his individual behalf, as only he or she would know better than others. If one has no chance of being able to convey their position freely to respectable and curious minds, instead of attacking them and at the same time failing to understand them or having an unwillingness to understand, why not ask them of what caused the disposition they presently possess, and of how it was obtained? Allow humility to do this for you. It's a very chivalrous ability. Most perform this act against him or her in an effort to cause them hurt in their act of asserting a disgrace of their person, but nothing could be more of an honor to them than their being ostracized from a community whose minds are warped and thus enslaved with a cultivated culture in which as others only fragment humanity and in effect manifest chaos inside of the human journey, creating a world that is inhumane. No matter of what community chosen to adhere to, if you are upon the receiving end of those who oppose respectability and in effect create inside of you the same constitutionality, then you are no distinction than the one who has caused you the plight of degradation and cruelties, as you shrug upon those who found a freedom that you claim you are desiring. Don't remain inside of a maze of living someone else designed for you that will in fact lead you to no legitimate destination. Rise above it. In these times, humanity is revealing itself as becoming increasingly indistinct. In spite of some assert this to be a what is called negative statement, reality will forever supersede any negative or even positive claim. I am not afraid to see reality as it is, because when you are left with nothing to stand upon in which can challenge reality, despite of how difficult the moment is for this harsh but beautiful lesson, you will find within yourself, without purposely comparing, a person who has become immensely aware and incredibly strong and called evil, constantly. However, being strong has no security, and that is the reality because it holds a dual titled, weak, because time is a moving reality and a decaying reality. No matter of how much energy we tend to try to deny it of trying to be the God which is claimed to be served, however, in the act, only serving oneself, the same as the organism decays, and is upon the journey of dying towards the ultimate death as all of its minerals return to Mother Earth, so has humanity thrown down its gauntlet in its effort to remain effective for the preservation of human dignity and integrity. I find myself more as I am present to be inspired, however the life journey imposes on my life, to go in a direction of where there is only myself. I always find my peace there. Just myself, and the love for existence alone, as what all of the living must one day understand, is the fundamental lesson from the beginning and will be that in its end of this earthly plane. Beautiful. Time is limited, and I am pleased because this journey has become a bit exhausting, as even this state of being was ordained for the sake of learning of oneself. It becomes exhausting due to previous programming of ceremonious monotony. It also is a revealing factor of survival. religion. It's all bullshit that sounds good, but empty words of stories with glittering emissions, coupled with some truths, which ignite the attractions which nevertheless enslaves the host for only a given time until instinctive intelligence and enlightenment dawns, or if one has been ordained because of the condition of the heart and mind, failed to allow their gifts to flourish from within to keep them free. There is no life force within clever words executed this day in the primary people whom claim themselves so-called conscious. We have created a mess upon this beautiful earth because of failing to be ourselves by deciding to adhere to being something else that was designed for our common morality. It seems that all have been forsaken as times of when the pressure of living builds up and against us so very tremendously. I find this earth a dwelling place of souls, forgotten by its maker because all that we have done to this earth is harm it and have literally destroyed one another to the degree that we all hold pains inside because of the pains of which we have accumulated from living, inflicting those similar pains upon one another as a vicious cycle of the abuse of common humanity, never having the compassion, the will, to pause or even stop to see of how this self-destructive behavior is enabled to be made an end. For some of the dwellings, this state serves them as a comfort of existing. Pain is a dual component as well, because there are some circumstances that we as humans go through. The zeal that is accumulated is in harmony with pain at times is useful for an ultimate good cause. Matters are beginning to matter less and less this day inside of everyone, including those who claim righteous and free of any inner pains. Yes, it's true. Just look around at the corruption upon every level as it has become so often. It is becoming a culture. However, at some appointed time, every culture dies in its circulation, as the human being will one day understand that a cultural state of living has to die, in order for what is left of humanity to evolve. Written by David Anthony Brable.